Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about two kings. One rules the sky, the other rules the land, the eagle and the lion. When we think of leadership, we often look to people, but nature, God's own creation, teaches us profound truths about leadership, courage, and dominion. The eagle and the lion are not the biggest, they are not the fastest, but they dominate. Why? Because leadership is not about size, it's about spirit. Let's begin with the eagle. The eagle does not flock. You'll never find an eagle in a crowd. Eagles fly alone, they don't chase storms, they rise above them. The eagle represents vision. It has the ability to see from miles away. While others react, the eagle foresees. A leader must have vision. Without vision, people perish. Without vision, companies collapse. Without vision, nations wander. But vision alone is not enough. Enter the lion. The lion is not the tallest in the jungle. The giraffe is. The lion is not the strongest. The elephant is. The lion is not the fastest. The cheetah is. But when the lion shows up, everybody moves. Why? Attitude. Leadership is not a matter of ability, it's a matter of mentality. The lion sees an elephant, a creature 10 times its size, and says lunch. The elephant sees the lion, a creature 10 times smaller, and says run. The difference is not in power, it is in perception. So, the eagle gives us vision, the lion gives us boldness. Leadership is born when vision and courage collide. A true leader sees the future and dares to go after it. A leader is not afraid of opposition. A leader is not paralyzed by fear. A leader stands, speaks, and leads when others hide. So, let me ask you, are you an eagle? Are you a lion? Or are you just watching from the trees while history is written without you? The world does not need more followers. The world needs leaders with eagle eyes and lion hearts. The sky is waiting. The jungle is watching. It's time to lead. When we think of the eagle, we think of majesty. We think of power, but above all else, we think of vision. The eagle has the most powerful eyesight in the animal kingdom. It can spot its prey from over 3 miles away. That's not just eyesight, it's foresight. While others are looking at what's right in front of them, the eagle is looking far ahead, beyond the trees, above the clouds. That is what makes the eagle a symbol of leadership. A leader is not someone who simply reacts to the present. A leader is someone who sees the future. Vision is the seed of leadership. It's not about where we are. It's about where we're going, and the truth is, most people can't see beyond today. Most people are trapped in the now. They're overwhelmed by what is, and they can't imagine what could be. That's why so few lead. Leadership begins when you start seeing beyond the moment. The eagle doesn't fly with pigeons. It doesn't hang out with crows. It doesn't rest in nests made by others. It builds high, it flies alone, and it rises above storms. When the storm comes, most birds hide, but the eagle spreads its wings and uses the wind to rise even higher. That's the power of vision. Vision doesn't panic when things get hard. Vision doesn't retreat when clouds roll in. Vision uses adversity as elevation. A leader with vision doesn't just survive the storm. They soar through it. But vision isn't just about seeing far. It's about seeing clearly. Many people have blurry dreams. They say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to make a difference. That's not vision, that's noise. The eagle sees a rabbit in a field of grass. Vision is specific. Vision is focused. Vision picks a target and locks in. That's how great leaders move. They don't chase everything. They pursue the one thing they've seen clearly, and understand this. Vision is not ambition. Ambition is self-centered. It's about climbing ladders, gaining titles, acquiring power. But vision is purpose-centered. It's about serving something greater than yourself. A real leader doesn't wake up asking, what can I take? A real leader wakes up asking, what can I build? The eagle is not concerned with impressing other birds. It's committed to reaching heights others won't dare climb. Vision makes you different. And when you are different, you will often feel misunderstood. The eagle doesn't fit in the barnyard, so if you're trying to lead like an eagle while living among chickens, you're going to feel out of place. That's okay. Leaders must learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Vision separates you. Vision isolates you. Vision demands that you step out of the crowd and see what others refuse to see. If you ever want to lead, you must begin by seeing differently. You can't look at your circumstances and let that define your potential. You must look past where you are to where you are meant to be. The eagle doesn't measure its flight based on the nest. It measures it based on the horizon. Leadership requires the ability to look at a desert and see a garden. To look at brokenness and see beauty. To look at chaos and see order. That's vision. But vision also comes with responsibility. Once you see, you can't unsee. Once you know, you can't unknow. Vision gives you access, but it also demands action. You can't call yourself a leader just because you have a dream. You must pursue that dream. You must walk it out. Vision without action is fantasy. Vision with action is leadership. And here's the thing, not everyone will understand your vision. Some will doubt it, some will criticize it, some will fight it, but that doesn't matter. Eagles don't take flight to win the approval of pigeons. They fly because it's in their DNA. You were not born to sit in the nest and wait for permission. You were born to soar. Leadership doesn't begin when others believe in you. Leadership begins when you believe in what you've seen. So when you feel like you don't fit in, when others can't see what you see, when the clouds roll in and the winds rise, remember the eagle. It flies alone, it flies high, and it sees far. That's what leaders do. They rise, they lead, they see. There is something unusual about the eagle that every true leader must come to understand. The eagle does not fly in flocks. You will never see a group of eagles soaring together in formation like geese or scavenging in crowds like vultures. No, the eagle flies alone, and this is not a weakness. It is a mark of strength, because true leadership, authentic leadership, does not begin in crowds. It begins in the solitude of purpose. Eagles are not social for approval. They are selective by instinct. They don't seek validation from other birds. They are not drawn to noise, trends, or applause. They fly where others cannot reach, not because they think they're better, but because their assignment is higher. Leadership often means elevation, and elevation means separation. If you want to lead, you must make peace with being misunderstood. Not everyone will see what you see. Not everyone will feel what you feel. And certainly, not everyone will go where you're called to go. Eagles don't wait for a committee to approve their flight. They spread their wings and rise, whether or not the others understand the altitude. The lonely road of leadership is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is in the alone places, those high, quiet places, where the eagle sharpens its sight and renews its strength. There's a reason the eagle lives in the mountains. Up there, distractions are few and the air is thin. Not every bird can breathe up there. Not every mind can function at that level. Leadership is about functioning in rare atmospheres. It's about making decisions where the oxygen of popularity is scarce. Many leaders fail, not because they lack talent, but because they fear loneliness. They keep descending to stay close to the crowd, but you cannot soar and stay safe at the same time. Understand this. Greatness does not grow in comfort zones. And isolation is not abandonment. It is refinement. When the eagle flies alone, it's not hiding. It's preparing. There are seasons in your leadership when you will feel like no one understands your burden. You will sit with visions that no one applauds. You will make sacrifices no one sees. You will carry a weight that no one else can lift for you. That's the price of leadership, but there is power in that place. Power in the stillness, power in the silence. That is where clarity comes. That is where character forms. That is where your wings are tested. Not just for height, but for endurance. Anyone can rise for a moment. But can you fly when the wind shifts? Can you keep soaring when no one is watching? That's what defines a leader. The eagle's greatest moments are not in public. They're in flight. They are far above the eyes of the crowd. And that is how you must lead, not for the platform, not for the lights, but for the purpose that burns in you when no one is clapping. It is in your private obedience that your public authority is built. The truth is, leadership can be lonely, but it is never empty. In the heights there is revelation. When you separate yourself from the noise of the earth, you begin to hear things others can't. You start to sense direction that is invisible to the crowd. That's what gives the eagle its power. Not just the height it flies at, but the perspective it gains because it is willing to be alone. And let me say this, flying alone doesn't mean you live without people. It means you lead without dependency. You walk with others, but you are not controlled by them. You serve others, but you are not led by their opinions. An eagle may partner with others, may raise young, may build nests. But when it's time to fly, it flies alone. It leads alone. It decides alone. If you're going to lead in your life, your business, your community, your family, you must develop the discipline to walk alone when needed. You cannot drag everyone with you. Some people are not refusing to come with you. They're simply not equipped for the altitude. You'll suffocate your vision trying to bring people who were only meant to be with you for a season. This is the paradox of leadership. You are called to people, but you cannot always walk with them. You must love them deeply, serve them fully, and still step into places they may never understand. That takes courage, that takes resolve, that takes the heart of an eagle. You must ask yourself, am I willing to stand alone so others can rise? Am I willing to be silent in secret so I can speak with authority in public? Am I willing to lose popularity to gain perspective? Because leadership will always demand this of you. The eagle's flight is not glamorous, it is costly. But it is also glorious, because in the end it is not the crowd that determines the legacy. It is the height, it is the impact, it is the freedom to soar, even if you must soar alone. When we speak of the lion, we are not just talking about an animal. We are talking about an attitude. We are talking about a mindset that defies logic, defies fear, and defies the natural order of things. The lion is not the biggest animal in the jungle, not the fastest, not the strongest. And yet, when the lion roars, every creature pays attention. Why? Because the lion represents something more powerful than physical strength. The lion represents courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to move forward despite fear. The lion sees the same dangers every other animal sees. It sees the same elephant 10 times its size. It sees the same buffalo with deadly horns. It sees the same risk. But while others see danger and turn back, the lion sees opportunity and moves forward. That's what courage does. It shifts the conversation from what if I fail to what if I win. You see, most people wait for the fear to go away before they act. Leaders don't. Leaders move while fear is still present. The lion doesn't wait for the jungle to get quiet before it claims its place. It steps in and takes authority, not because of its size, but because of its spirit. That's leadership. You don't lead because you have no fear. You lead because your purpose is bigger than your fear. Courage is the catalyst for change. Nothing great ever happens without courage. You can have vision like the eagle. You can see the future, understand your direction. But without the courage to take the first step, you will remain grounded. You can have dreams, strategies, talents, even resources. But if you don't have the heart to confront opposition, to face resistance, to endure pressure, then your leadership will die in the womb of potential. The lion doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. The lion doesn't need a guarantee. It trusts its instincts. It moves with authority. That's what leaders must do. We are often paralyzed by overthinking, by doubt, by the need for approval. But real leadership rises when you say, I may not have all the answers, but I will act. I may not be the best qualified, but I will step up. I may be afraid, but I won't back down. Courage is what separates leaders from followers. The follower needs safety. The follower waits for permission. The follower needs affirmation, but the leader, the lion, creates the path. The leader does not follow the crowd. The leader moves and the crowd adjusts. And here's the thing, courage doesn't always look loud. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is quiet. Sometimes courage is standing your ground when it would be easier to walk away. Sometimes it's making the hard call when others would rather delay. Courage is doing the right thing when it's not popular, not profitable, and not applauded. The lion is not afraid of confrontation, not because it wants conflict, but because it will not run from responsibility. Leadership means responsibility. You cannot lead and hide. You cannot lead and be silent when it matters. The lion represents the boldness to speak when others are quiet, to act when others freeze, to lead when others disappear. That kind of courage is rare, and that's why lions don't blend in. They stand out and make no mistake. Courage can be costly. You may lose relationships, you may lose opportunities, you may lose comfort. But what you gain is far greater: influence, impact, and legacy. The lion doesn't chase approval, it chases purpose. It doesn't ask, will they like me? It asks, is this right? Is this necessary? That's the kind of leadership the world is desperate for, not leadership based on charisma, but leadership built on courage. The lion is not fearless, but it is fear-resistant. You must become fear-resistant if you want to lead. Fear will always knock. Courage is choosing not to let it in. And how do you become courageous? By acting in spite of trembling hands and shaking knees. By doing the hard thing again and again until it becomes your default. Courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time the lion steps forward, the jungle remembers, and every time you show courage, those watching you learn what leadership really looks like. There are people in your life, in your community, in your workplace, who are waiting for a lion to rise. They are waiting for someone to model bravery, someone to show them what it looks like to stand when it's easier to sit, to move when it's safer to stay. That someone can be you, but it won't happen automatically. It will require a choice, a decision to stop underestimating yourself, a decision to stop shrinking in the face of challenge, a decision to lead with courage, not convenience. You may not be the biggest, you may not be the fastest, you may not have all the resources, but if you have courage, if you carry the heart of a lion, there is nothing you cannot rise to. You were not designed to live in fear. You were created to lead with boldness, and when you lead like the lion, the world doesn't just notice, it follows. There's something about the lion that captures attention the moment it appears, not because of its size, not because of its speed, not even because of its strength. It's something deeper, something invisible, something powerful. The lion's true weapon is its attitude. When the lion walks into the jungle, it doesn't make excuses for what it lacks. It doesn't apologize for not being the biggest, for not being the strongest, for not being the fastest. The lion doesn't have to prove its worth with stats or titles. It walks with a presence, a confidence, a belief in its own identity, and that belief affects everything around it. You see, attitude is contagious. When the lion shows up, the elephant runs, not because the elephant is weak, but because the lion thinks like a king. The lion believes it is the ruler of the land. That belief turns into posture, presence, and power. That's what leadership is, not dominating with force, but influencing with confidence. The lion doesn't need to fight to be respected. Its attitude announces its authority. Many people think leadership is about talent. Others think it's about education or experience. Those things matter, but they are not the source of influence. Your greatest tool as a leader is your attitude. You can have all the skill in the world, but if you carry a defeated mindset, people won't follow you. And on the other side, you may be limited in experience or resources. But if you carry yourself with courage, with certainty, with determination, others will be drawn to your energy. Attitude determines how you respond to pressure. It decides whether you stand or break when things get tough. It shapes how you deal with people, how you handle setbacks, and how you carry your responsibilities. The lion's attitude says, "This is my territory." It doesn't beg for space, it claims it. That's how a leader must walk into a room, into a crisis, into a challenge. Not with arrogance, but with assurance. You don't lead by intimidation. You lead by inspiration. But you can only inspire people when your attitude communicates strength. You can't lift others if your posture is slumped. You can't guide others if your words drip with doubt. Your attitude must say, "I may not know everything, but I will figure it out. I may face resistance, but I will not retreat. I may feel fear, but fear will not dictate my next step." Think of every great leader you've admired. What made them stand out? What made people follow them? It wasn't just intelligence. It wasn't just ability. It was the way they carried themselves in moments of uncertainty. It was their composure under pressure. It was their unshakable belief in the mission, in the cause, in their purpose. That's the lion's spirit. That's the power of attitude. Let me tell you something you may not hear often. Your attitude is a choice. You don't wake up with courage. You choose it. You don't feel confident every day. You decide to show up anyway. The lion doesn't always feel powerful, but it never acts like a victim. Leadership refuses to wear the identity of the victim. Leadership doesn't wait for someone else to take responsibility. Leadership says, if no one else will, I will. This kind of attitude affects how you see yourself, and it also shapes how others see you. People don't follow weakness. They follow certainty. They follow presence. They follow energy. Even if they don't understand your plan, they will follow your conviction. That's the power of influence. And that influence does not begin with what's around you. It begins with what's inside you. The lion does not live in denial. It knows it's not the biggest or strongest, but it acts like it is. That's not delusion. That's belief, that's confidence rooted in identity, and hear this clearly, your identity drives your attitude. If you see yourself as inferior, your posture will shrink. If you see yourself as insignificant, your voice will fade. But if you see yourself as a leader, if you truly know who you are, your attitude will carry the weight of that truth. Don't let your environment dictate your attitude. Lions are born in the same jungle as all the other animals. What sets them apart is not their habitat, it's their mindset. The same environment that makes others shrink is the one where the lion stands tall. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for people to approve of you. Stop waiting for your fear to disappear. Stand in your space like the lion. Own it. Speak with clarity. Move with confidence. Because in the end, leadership is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about carrying an attitude that speaks before you say a word. It's about walking with authority even when you're still learning. That's what makes the lion king. Not its roar, not its size, but its attitude. And if you want to lead like a lion, you must choose that same attitude every single day. There is something remarkable about the eagle that every leader must understand. It's not its wingspan, it's not its height, it's not even its strength. It's its vision. The eagle sees what others cannot see. It has the ability to spot a rabbit 2 miles away. Its eyes are not ordinary eyes. They are trained for distance, for focus, for precision. And this is where real leadership begins. Not in charisma, not in loud declarations, but in vision. Vision is the power to see beyond the noise, beyond the confusion, beyond what is in front of you. The eagle does not flap wildly trying to figure out where it's going. It flies with intent. It soars on purpose. And it does so because it knows where it's going. It has a target. It has direction. The eagle doesn't react. It responds. That's the difference between movement and progress. Too many people mistake activity for achievement. They're busy, but they're blind. They're moving, but they're not advancing. Leadership isn't about doing more, it's about seeing more. The eagle sees the big picture. It flies high to gain perspective. It separates from the clutter of the ground, from the distractions of the crowd, and it rises where the view is clear. That elevation gives the eagle an advantage, because when you can see clearly, you can lead clearly. You don't lead with your feet, you lead with your eyes. If you don't know where you're going, people won't follow you. If you don't have a picture of the future, a sense of purpose, a mental image of what could be, you'll lead people in circles. Vision gives you direction, and direction gives you authority. People are drawn to those who can see further. They don't just want someone to walk with. They want someone who knows where they're going. Vision is not about prediction, it's about perception. It's not about being a fortune teller, it's about being focused. And that kind of focus takes discipline. The eagle doesn't just look around aimlessly. It locks in. When it finds its prey, it folds its wings, it blocks out everything else, and it dives. That's the kind of intensity a leader needs. The ability to ignore distractions, to say no to the urgent so you can say yes to the important. If your vision is blurred, your leadership will be shaky. And if you spend your time reacting to what's popular, you'll miss what's possible. Eagles don't live at ground level, and leaders don't live in trends. They rise above the temporary to see the eternal. That's what allows the eagle to fly in storms. While other birds are hiding from the wind, the eagle uses it. It spreads its wings, tilts its body, and locks its gaze beyond the clouds. The storm doesn't stop the eagle, it lifts it. That's the power of vision. When others see the problem, the eagle sees the path. The strength of the eagle is not in its muscles, it's in its eyes. That's why the enemy of vision is not weakness. It's distraction. The eagle doesn't get pulled into what doesn't matter. It doesn't hunt flies or chase shadows. It knows what it's after, and it waits patiently until it sees it. Leaders must do the same. Stop chasing everything. Stop reacting to everyone. Lock in on your vision. You weren't designed to lead by emotion. Emotions change like the weather. Vision is the anchor. It keeps you steady when you feel like quitting. It keeps you focused when everything around you is pulling at your attention. Vision gives you endurance. If you have a strong enough why, you can handle almost any how. That's why so many leaders burn out. They're working hard, but they've lost sight of the destination. You must protect your vision. Not everyone will see what you see. Not everyone is supposed to. Some will mock it. Some will question it. Some will try to talk you out of it. But if the eagle waited for the crows to approve, it would never take off. You don't need everyone to understand. You just need the courage to keep looking ahead. Leadership is lonely not because people reject you, but because they don't yet see what you see. Vision requires faith. It requires the ability to walk by insight, not eyesight. You have to believe in what hasn't happened yet. That's not foolishness. That's foresight. That's leadership. And if you're going to lead like the eagle, you need to cultivate that kind of inner sight. Your eyes determine your altitude. If you keep looking down, you'll stay low. If you fix your eyes forward, you'll rise. So protect your eyes. Guard your focus. Keep your vision clear. Because when vision is strong, leadership is strong. When vision is sharp, decisions are sharp. And when vision is alive, people will follow you, not just because of where you are, but because of where you're going. Leadership is not a group assignment. It's not about following the crowd or blending in. If you want to lead like the eagle, you have to understand one simple truth. Eagles don't flock. You'll never see a group of eagles fighting for space on the same tree. You'll never see them gathering like pigeons in a square or gathering in a field like sparrows. Eagles fly alone. That is not because they're antisocial. It's not because they're arrogant. It's because they are different. They are built for something higher. Their altitude demands solitude, and that is the price of real leadership. You must become comfortable being misunderstood, being judged, and being alone. Because the higher you rise, the fewer people will go with you. Most people are afraid of isolation. They panic when they feel alone, but the eagle doesn't panic. It embraces it. It understands that clarity comes in quiet places. Strength is forged in solitude, and vision becomes sharper when you're not surrounded by noise. Leaders are not made in crowds. They are refined in caves, in silence, in wilderness seasons, in moments where no one is clapping and no one is watching. That's where character is formed. The eagle doesn't compete for attention. It doesn't beg for approval. It doesn't ask permission to fly. It just rises. That's what leaders do. You don't need an audience to be great. You need alignment with your purpose. You don't need everyone to agree with your direction. You just need the discipline to stay on course. Flocking feels safe, but it's dangerous. Because when you flock with the wrong people, you start thinking like them. You stop seeing what you were born to see. And you stop going where you were born to go. Not everyone is meant to fly at your altitude. That's not pride, it's precision. An eagle cannot fly with chickens, not because the chickens are bad, but because they don't belong in the sky. Their world is the ground. They scratch and peck and stay low. But you, if you are an eagle, you were made for the heights. You were made to soar. You were made to see from above what others can't even imagine from below. This doesn't mean you reject people. It doesn't mean you look down on others. It means you recognize who you are and protect that identity. The eagle's strength comes from its ability to refuse what does not match its nature. You have to stop apologizing for being different, stop shrinking to fit, stop pretending you're just like everyone else. You're not. If you were, you wouldn't feel the pull to rise. You wouldn't see what others ignore. You wouldn't ache for something more. Eagles don't waste energy trying to fit into a flock. They spend their energy preparing to rise. They train their wings. They study the wind. They wait for the right moment. And then they go. Leaders don't rush with the crowd. They move when they're ready. And when they move with force, with grace, and with focus. You cannot fly high and carry everyone with you. That's the hardest lesson in leadership. You will have to let go, not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. Some people are part of your history, but not your destiny. Some voices belong in your memory, not your mission. The eagle does not take flight with dead weight. And neither can you. There will be seasons where you feel alone, where no one understands what you're building, where you look around and all you see is open sky. Don't be discouraged by that emptiness. That emptiness is your space to soar. That emptiness is not a punishment. It's a runway. The eagle doesn't need a crowd. It needs clarity. It needs altitude. It needs alignment with the wind. So do you. The higher you go, the quieter it gets. That silence is not abandonment. It's elevation. Don't confuse the two. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will come when no one is watching. Some of your boldest decisions will be made in rooms with no applause. That's where you become a leader, not in front of followers, but in front of yourself, alone, resolute, focused. The eagle flies alone because it doesn't need the flock to validate its power. It knows what it carries. It trusts its wings. It trusts its vision. That's how you must lead. Trust what's inside you. Trust the preparation. Trust your calling. You may walk alone, but you're not lost. You may be flying solo, but you're not without purpose. You are just living at a level few are willing to rise to. You cannot lead like an eagle and think like a pigeon. You cannot soar to new heights and keep a ground, level mindset. So stop looking for crowds. Stop chasing affirmation, and stop waiting for company to prove you're on the right path. Your wings were designed for greater things. Your silence has meaning. Your solitude has power. You don't need a flock to confirm your identity. You just need the courage to take off. So rise, not because they see you, but because you were meant to. Rise, not for the noise of the crowd, but for the call of your purpose. Rise, because you're an eagle. And eagles don't flock. So what does it mean to lead? Like the lion, like the eagle. It means you rise with vision and walk with attitude. It means you rule your space, not by force, but by belief. It means you don't wait to be appointed. You know you're anointed. The lion shows us that leadership is not about size. It's about courage, conviction, and how you carry yourself in the face of fear. And the eagle reminds us that true leadership isn't crowded. It's clear, it's focused, it's intentional. It doesn't follow noise, it follows vision. The jungle respects the lion not because it demands fear, but because it commands presence. And the sky yields to the eagle not because it flaps wildly, but because it soars with purpose. That's the type of leader the world is waiting for. One who leads from the inside out, not from the outside in. One who isn't moved by the crowd, but by calling. One who doesn't beg for a seat at the table, because they are the table. In a world full of noise, imitation, and confusion, choose to be like the lion, bold in spirit, unshaken in attitude. Choose to be like the eagle, sharp in vision, fierce in solitude, steady in the storm. The jungle and the sky are waiting, not for another follower, but for a leader. One who dares to rise, dares to roar, and dares to lead not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out, so don't just exist, lead, don't just talk. Demonstrate, and don't just move with purpose. You are the lion, you are the eagle, and your time is now.